Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Haris bin Faiz. In this talk, I'm going to share the procedure that cured me of an advanced case of gluten intolerance. For a number of reasons, I feel you would benefit to know of my experiences across the 2 years and 4 months, that is 2 years and 4 months on the Christian calendar, in which I suffered from this condition. If you concur with that, please defer to supplement number 3 on my channel, the title of which would be The Dark Days of Gluten Intolerance and How I Discovered the Cure. I will upload the latter, inshallah, very soon following this talk. On the other hand, if you just wish to know of the curative procedure ASAP, alright, please proceed. The procedure that I followed, and I am hereby advising you to, is this. Obtain any cooked preparation of a gluten containing grain. This may be unleavened bread or it may be porridge, but it's best that it isn't bread made with yeast. As for the grain, ideally you would use barley. Barley has been the foundation of the sick or convalescing person's dietary regimen going back to antiquity. If you wish for an illustration of this, you'll find one in Walter Penfield's biographical novel on Hippocrates. Using wheat for this procedure, I think, should be fine in the very early stages, but not as you progress. I will be happy to share the technicalities on request. Now for the procedure itself. Take a piece of barley bread and break off a small speck, small enough to only just be visible to the naked eye. Ingest it. Now wait for the flare. In my case, that would happen within 1 to 2 minutes following gluten exposure. If you somehow don't flare from this tiny amount, you should repeat the step, or thereafter double the amount you're ingesting. Inducing a flare is necessary. Following the flare, you should proceed as follows. Either wait for it to subside, or wait till you manage to sleep for at least one sleep cycle. That is typically 90 minutes. The latter is the more gentle of the two routes, but it will take a few days longer for the resolution, inshallah, to materialize. Now you're ready for step 2. That is, repeat the gluten exposure with about double the amount as in the first instance. Again, you will flare, but at least in my case, the flare was most certainly not more pronounced than it was with the first exposure. It was either the same or a little bit less intense. As you may guess, The next step is to repeat the sequence. In my case, I kept doubling the amount. Typically, there were 3 gluten exposures every day. And I did this till I reached a stage where the gluten exposure I was subjecting myself to was in the 5 to 10 grams range. Grams of flour, that is. To be clear, I mean that I kept doubling the amount till I reached this stage, and thereafter I started increasing it a little bit less precipitately than that. I wasn't doubling it entirely. By the end of the very same week, in my case, I was eating as much bread as is made from over 200 grams of barley flour on a daily basis. And I was experiencing only very low grade flares. And then these flares subsided as well. And eventually they disappeared completely. It has now been 4 years and 5 months, again solar that is, since I followed this procedure. If my memory serves me correctly, there has not been a single day ever since that I have not eaten flatbread made from barley flour. And I have never again suffered from any symptoms of gluten reactivity from bread or porridge in this entire period. I am cured of gluten intolerance. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And I hope and wish the same for you.